Hello girls and guys, romankondrachov here with you today, and I bring to you a tutorial on two common Russian folk dancing and also Ukrainian folk dancing moves that are commonly encountered in Russian or Ukrainian folk dancing. So, the two moves are the following. The first one is the alternating front kicks with the support of your arms or one arm, and the second move is a V-kick. And there's many variations that follow from these two moves. So let me explain to you first how the alternating front kicks with a clap are performed, and then we'll move on to the V-kicks. So prior to doing these Russian folk dance tricks, what you should have is good ankle mobility and good hip mobility. These hops serve as a great starting point for many of the Russian tricks. You should have a well-developed deep squat. It is beneficial to be able to sit like this freely in a narrow stance and a wide stance as well. You should also be able to hop in both stances. By the way, if you can't do this, just squat every day and your ankle mobility will improve. Trust me on this. Supplementary exercise for ankle mobility is to just stretch like so, like I'm doing over here. Before attempting the moves, get yourself familiar with the reverse tabletop position. Your legs should not be far away from you, they should be closer to your bum. Ideally, your heels should be touching your butt. The next step is to practice little hops like this, by shooting your hips vertically up. You should be supporting yourself on your arms. The next step is to practice kicking your legs out away from you, one at a time. Once you get familiar with this position, you can start adding in little hops. Remember, drive through the hips and make sure that your heels remain close to your butt. Get familiar with the movement and don't let the movement control you. When performing most Russian or Ukrainian folk dance moves, you should ideally point your toes. After you've gotten yourself familiar with the small kicks, you can increase the amplitude and kick higher. Now firmly support yourself on one arm and perform these front kicks. You should be able to vary the speed and control the movement. Gary's center of mass is not over his hand, and this is the mistake. The way to fix it is to bring your hand closer to your legs. This is better. Now you never want to stomp on the ground, you never want to land on your heels, you always have to remain on the toes. In order to understand the movement pattern, just sit down and do the following. To make the movement look better, you should always open up your hand after each clap. At this point, if your ankle and hip mobility allows you to, you can review this movement without any hops, just to go over the technique of the movement. Once you've mastered the previous steps, you can now move on to performing this movement. Remember to open up your hand after each clap, point your toes, and have your center of mass over your arm. If you don't have good ankle mobility, you might be falling back like Gary is doing over here. In order to compensate for this, try to push off with your supporting arm a bit harder to restore balance. Initially, your alternating front kicks might look like this, and this is okay, just keep working at it and you'll get better. True V-kicks are much harder to perform than alternating front kicks, so ensure that you're able to do alternating front kicks first. But in any case, to perform this movement, first, be able to kick both legs outwards like this, and make sure that your center of mass remains over your arms. Perform this supplementary exercise to strengthen your triceps and your shoulders. Remember, your center of mass always remains above your arms, not like demonstrated right here. Now try performing small little kicks like this. Your hands leave the ground progressively, traveling higher and higher. You should be leaning on your arms a lot, and you will be putting a lot of pressure on them. Strengthen them by doing this supplementary exercise. After you have mastered previous steps, try kicking your legs higher. Your hands will leave the ground higher naturally as well. Before proceeding to the high V-kicks, make sure that you have very good flexibility. you should be able to do the spike stretch easily without any problems. Now, to strengthen your abs, try this exercise first. You should progress naturally towards harder variations, such as L-sit on the ground, like this. Make sure your arms are not supporting your legs. They should be a bit wider to maximize the efficiency of this exercise. The next step is to raise your legs and hold this position for time. Once you have mastered the previous steps, have gained flexibility, mobility, and strength, you can move on to this movement. Now I provide you some other cool variations that you can try. So there you go. Now remember, these moves, they take time to develop and to learn. And these movements, they require flexibility, mobility, and strength. Don't hurry through the steps. Try to master each step in a consecutive manner. And don't forget about stretching, about supplementary exercises. And if you do everything, I am sure that you will be able to master these exercises, these cool tricks, in no time. Take care, and if you enjoy this content, please make sure to like, share and subscribe. And please ask me any questions that you might have. Have a good day. Take care.